So, good morning, everyone. My name is Mary Rampone. I am this year's chair of the Global Business Alliance. Welcome to our final Global Month event, Maximizing Your CIPS or Certified International Property Specialist designation. We wanted a speaker who could show us how to maximize the value of the CIPS designation, and we found the perfect person in Zola Zarences. He came highly recommended by our committee member, Dallas Gruber, and after meeting him and reviewing his impressive background, I know you'll enjoy today's presentation. So whether you already have your CIPS designation or considering earning it, you will gain valuable insights. We're also very fortunate to have Kelly Cutchin from Money Corp Americas with us today. She will be sharing her expertise in global payments and foreign currency exchange. And oh, by the way, we will have a poll for you to participate in at the end, and then a raffle at the very end of the program. You must be present to win. So now it's my pleasure to introduce our speakers by reading their brief bios. Zola Zarences is an internationally recognized real estate educator, consultant, and speaker with more than 20 years of industry experience. He works with real estate professionals, brokerages, and organizations to improve performance through practical strategies, leadership development, and business
Mary,
growth.
you are so sweet, but let's not talk about that's okay. We don't need the introduction. That's fine. I'm sure
Well, I just want to brag about you,
you
Zola.
are so sweet. Thank you so much, but it's all good. I have a more important person next to me, so
And I
um
will get to her next. So let me continue bragging about you because
oh
they
my
have to know
gosh, Mary,
about you.
don't do it. It's okay.
Okay, I'm going to just shorten it to two more. Okay. So Zola currently serves as a chair of the CIPS Advisory Board and is a member of the REBI Board of Directors. His past leadership includes serving as president of the Orlando Regional Realtor Association, and he was honored with the 2023 REBI Distinguished Educator of the Year and the 2021 Orlando Regional Realtor Association Educator of the Year. So I'll go on to Kelly Cutchin. She is a seasonal foreign exchange specialist with more than 20 years of experience at Money Corp. She has built a strong reputation for excellence in global payments and international money transfers, helping individuals, businesses, and real estate professionals navigate foreign currency exchange with confidence. Her expertise in international payment solutions, currency risk, and cross-border transactions enables her to provide secure, cost-effective solutions to overseas property purchases, international investments, and global business payments. Known for her professionalism, integrity, and exceptional customer service, Kelly is a trusted resource who is committed to building lasting client relationships and making international transactions simple, seamless, and stress-free. Welcome, Zola and Kelly.
Thank you so much for having us and for reading our bios. I think
You're
now
very
everyone
welcome.
has a understanding of what they're stepping into, but Zola and I are both extremely passionate about global business. And so we're really excited to be here with you today. So I'm actually going to get us started and maybe build up to the excitement of having Zola on here momentarily. But I think one of the things that we're kind of hoping to accomplish today is to encourage everyone, if you haven't done so already, to consider obtaining your CIPS designation. Obviously, within that designation, you'll learn stats, figures. You'll learn about global transactions and cross-border investments. And after the class, you will feel more informed, more comfortable, educated, and exhausted. It is a lot of information. It's a lot to digest. But it is amazing. And we think that that CIPS designation really does fit as a foundation for growing your global business. So today, Zola will give some tips on how to put those things that you learned during that class into practice. He'll bring some clarity to those who want to join or expand their global business. But one of the things that I also want to encourage those joining us today to do is to get involved with your local association. If your local association has a global council or a global committee, I would encourage you to connect there, connect with people that are like-minded, get additional contacts and resources, build off of each other's ideas, and really create that community. Years ago, I was actually the global chair of the Orlando Realtor Association, and the members that were involved all those years ago remain very close friends with my of mine now. We've traveled the globe together, we've done business together, and I really look up and find inspiration from those that I had the opportunity of connecting with even way back then. So I would ask you to ask yourself a couple of questions. One being, what inspires you to do global business? And I think there's a lot of answers here, and there's not necessarily a wrong answer here. But some of the answers might be that you're from another country. Maybe that's what motivates you to grow your business globally. Maybe you love to travel. I myself have a bad case of the
Travel.
travel bug, which is a very costly hobby, but maybe you just have a love for travel. Maybe you speak another language, or perhaps you lost a client, a foreign client, because you weren't prepared. And for some of those reasons, maybe that's what's motivating you to join us today. One of the other things that I feel is very important as we go through this class and as you continue to grow your business, it's consider building out your international dream team and having these resources available in the event a foreign national client is to reach out to you. Some of those resources might be having a foreign national lender. Obviously, this is not the same lender that you have for your domestic buyers. Make sure you have a lender that specializes in dealing with foreign nationals. You'll want to have a FERPTA specialist. If you're scratching your head saying, what the heck is FERPTA? That's something that I think Zola may touch on a bit later on as well. But people like immigration attorneys, CPAs, of course, a foreign currency exchange provider, little plug for myself and MoneyCorp there, long-term and short-term property managers, and of course, a title company that again has experience in dealing with foreign national closings. Um, Before I hand it over to Zola, I would say email us if you have any questions. Zola and I are here to help you make global connections. So if you do want to partner with agents in other regions, we encourage you to reach out to ourselves. We'd love nothing more than to connect you with our network of experienced partners around the globe in hopes that it helps you grow your global business. So with that, I will hand it over to your number one presenter today, Zola.
Thank you so much, Kelly, and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And the slides are coming right up now for us to be shared. And here we are. So thank you so much. But before we even start, because I want you to, I don't know, a lot of you have not taken any class with me before, but I am not a lecturer. So I have a question to you. But first of all, I do have to give a shout out to someone. I just saw the list of people online. First of all, Dallas is here. And as Mary was mentioning, Dallas is really the reason why Kelly and I are being here and hopefully giving and adding some value to your international real estate business. So I wanted to make sure we recognize Dallas as well for his effort putting all of us together with Mary. But of course, we also have to recognize something because without those four ladies, everyone who get this and making this happen, it could have not been done. So thank you so much for all your participations. So thank you. And I also see someone, because as you can hear from my accent, I am born and raised in Mobile, Alabama. That's a joke, right? So, and I see a fellow Hungarian, or at least the name is a Hungarian one because it says Laszlo Hegedűs. So, hoping it's a Hungarian person, but if not, it's all good. We are, yes?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. So, very nice
Thank
to
you.
hear from you, and I wanted to give you a shout out because you don't really run around on the streets and running into Hungarians. I don't know about you, but not in Florida, for sure.
Well, not that many in Southern California, but they are still a small number, but they're present
Awesome.
pretty much everywhere.
Great. Obviously, I just don't want to recognize Laszlo here by himself, but also all of you who are being participating here. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So my quick question is, what when you saw this maximizing your CIPS, as Mary was mentioning, some of you might have, some of you are planning to have this designation, but what are you planning to take away from this few minutes with Kelly and I? And this is the time when you are either just unmute yourself and say, hey, I want to know about this. I want to know about that. Because honestly, presentations are amazing. But if it's not something which you are here for, then let me take care of why you are here. Of course, I know a lot of things, but I don't know everything. But what I know is if I don't know the answer, I can connect you with the right professional so they can get you the answer. So, what would you like to take away from these few minutes with us?
For myself, I'll say I'm just here to be a sponge and absorb all the information I can from you both.
Sponge is good, SpongeBob, but it's Sponge Dallas. Okay, thank you, Dallas. Okay, so let me help you. The least expectations you have, the easier is our job, if that makes sense. So, do you have anything which you would be more interested, any topic about CIPS or
I
how?
see, I see some comments here.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't see
Learn,
the comments. Yes,
you haven't learn more resources.
more
Grow my
resources.
global business.
Okay, good. What else?
And how to prospect in international business.
Oh my God, prospect. All right, so let me just go ahead and start with um, something very important. Okay, any other comments there, Elizabeth? No? Prospecting.
Elizabeth, you're on mute.
I'm driving.
Also, Zola and Kelly, would you share their phone numbers? That's in comments here. And
Only if we get referral on every transactions what you make. I'm just kidding. We will
all
share.
right.
Yeah, we will share it.
If the data is available, what is the average number of referrals does a CIPS receive a year?
Mhm. Okay, so let me address some of these things right up front, okay? That is an extremely good question about the referrals. So there is no general rule for this because some people are actually working the CIPS designation the right way, meaning they know how to connect, how to send, and how to receive referrals. Because the designation, the credentials itself, it gives you credibility, but it does not give you the relationships what we need to build. So I'm trying to go ahead and reveal some of these informations during this presentation so you can capitalize on and maximizing the designation and beyond to receive referrals. Now, the other question was about prospecting. So let me just start out with this. And this is a big one, in my opinion. Um, we, in real estate, and especially in international global real estate, is lead generation, right? We're in people business. So, in my opinion, and also other people who are a lot smarter than I am, they categorize lead generation in two different categories. One of them, it's called prospecting, as you were mentioning. And then the other is marketing. So we have lead generation, prospecting, and marketing. what I would like to actually mention about this, because is I think the most important part here, Kelly's going to come back for the exchange section of this presentation. But I think the important part here is prospecting. It's always has to do with in person or over the phone, which means you're creating the relationship. The highest form of communication as humans is in person. The secondary is by voice, audio. So that's the prospecting side. The marketing, which the best way how I would like to describe marketing is marketing should be something which is working for you while you are sleeping. So what does that mean? That means, so now since I made this categorization, you understand. And by the way, I am not immune. I have done the same thing. The majority of my time was spent on marketing versus prospecting. And that should be actually all the way around, because if you spend more time on prospecting, you will generate more leads. Now, when it comes down to marketing, with today's technology, you can create your social media, your marketing campaign in less than 4 hours for the next 6 months. Okay, there are some platforms which you can automate all of your email, all of your social media posts in weeks and months in advance. So why is it so important? It's important because you are going to spend time, energy, and investment on prospecting, which is the most and the best return on your investment, versus on marketing. Because as we all know that the majority of the agents, they come and we always spend time on, oh my God, how is this open house flyer looks like? How is this public remarks looks like? And all of that. And that's where we spend most amount of time. Of course, I'm generalizing. I'm not saying you are doing that. I'm just saying as generally speaking. So we should turn the mindset a little bit around this and spend time on the prospecting and put marketing on autopilot so it can work for you while you are sleeping. So, order for us to make that work, every marketing effort has to have a CTA. The CTA is your call to action. The call to action should lead all of your lead sources to your website. And your website should reflect your marketing. So that means the branding, the color scheme, and all of the things, right? And in the presentation, I think I am also touching on that. So if you have one hub where you direct all your marketing efforts, then you literally can communicate all the transaction details, all the important informations what an international client will need. Now, Zola, why would I do that and make that available online? Well, today we are in 2026. In 2026, consumers don't need information. They have more information than we do sometimes. So let me explain this to you. You go to an open house, sometimes they walk in, they have more information on that subdivision than the agent do. Because today's technology, AI, all of the other things, right? So they are not coming to us for knowledge. International transactions are coming because you are becoming a trusted real estate advisor. A trusted real estate advisor who is able to connect all the transaction obstacles, what can show up on a foreign national selling side and a foreign national purchasing side. And the selling side is clear, right? With the FERPTA, with all the other things, taxes, it can also reflect on their transactions. Now, with the buying side, you also have to address a lot of issues, right? So I like to categorize foreign national transactions in the US One of them is called situational. The other one is intentional. The intentional one is usually the investors and the buyer side of the transactions because they understand the complexity of the transaction. The situational for a national clients are usually when you find out during the transaction, okay, they might live here, but the funds are coming from another country. Now all of a sudden, it's going to go and put a little delay on your transaction, right? Maybe the seller is US citizen, but they also have ownership with a foreign national. Now all of a sudden, how are these little obstacles will reflect on your transaction timeline? So those are the one which is situational ones. Okay, so that's kind of like about prospecting because some of you asked me about prospecting on the chat. So I would like to answer on that. And I think it's going to be addressed here on this presentation as well. Now, the CIPS network database, it's very useful. However, I'm going to be very frank with you and very honest with you. I started to go to conferences, yes, investments. I paid for it since 2005. So my very first conference, real estate conference, was in San Francisco in 2005. And what is today? 2026. So it's 21 years. And the reason why I'm saying this to you, because in 2003, I received my CIPS designation, and I learned on our annual conferences, we have international delegates and international real estate agents coming from different parts of the world. So last year, 2025, we had over 3,400 international real estate agents in these conferences. So when you planning to build relationship with other referral sources, why? Okay, I know it sounds, as Kelly mentioned, sounds cool to travel all over the place and make connections, which is true, but what if we don't have to leave the country because they are coming to us? And I'm going to tell you why it's important, why they're coming to us. Because no one really sells real estate the way how we sell real estate in the United States. So let me explain that a little bit more. And this is basic stuffs which we take for granted and we forget. We forget this. Majority of the countries, they're doing real estate business and they're using MLS here. So let me explain because we all have apps now, but let me explain what I mean by this. Agency relationships are unheard of in most of the countries outside of US. I'm not talking about Canada, obviously, and some of the neighboring ones, but 90% outside of the US, they don't have agency relationships. They don't have MLSs. And I'm not talking about soccer. I'm talking about multiple listing services, right? So the multiple listing services. So sometimes when you travel in Central, South America, Asia, Europe, none of them immune to this. Most of the agents' MLSs, it's a WhatsApp group chat. It's a WhatsApp group chat. And you also find that is literally same property listed with 11 different agents with 11 different prices. So now you are wondering why we cannot make a referral with these people. Well, first of all, because they do business differently and referral means different things for them. So when I was mentioning to you to connect with those foreign international agents who are coming to us, I really meant it because those people come to our conferences and they are very well versed and they know how we do business here, so they understand how we operate. Does it help a little bit? Does it make sense? I hope so. I can see the chat because we're sharing screens and things like that. You can totally unmute yourself if you want to and chime in. I'm totally fine with that. So I hope is helping to clarify some of these things. That is the foundational issues, by the way. And then let me put another twist on this. The other twist is that's why when you are talking about referrals for outside of the US, a lot of people are leaning towards developers because there is no buyer agency representation outside other than a developer, right? But we also have to be very careful because with that said, developers also have to be very reputable. So Zola, you all telling all of these things, but how do we find these people? I honestly, to tell you the truth, is the way how I did it is I was close to with people who are coming to these meetings, who are showing up for the profession and by their networks. So what I'm saying now is through us, through you can anytime you can get my contact information, I'm going to share it with you on the screen. And Kelly, so Kelly is not here, so let's talk about her. So Kelly would be a perfect example of this. Just think about this. All the high net worth individuals or regular transactions, they're all coming to her to do currency exchange. She has the contacts, right? She has the different country contacts. So that is, I think, it's one of the things what we need to look out for is build a relationship through our team of professionals. So let me just actually start this presentation because honestly, I was like so into this and I just explained to you a lot of things up front. So we might going to repeat it throughout the slides, but I really hope you are finding these informations useful so far, because if not, then I can change the direction. You good? Okay. All right, Kelly's back, so we cannot talk about her anymore. We were talking about you. All right, so I said I haven't even started the presentation.
I figured.
Yes. Okay, let's go ahead and Excel the slides, which I don't know how to do, but we have.
You should just be able to hit this.
Yes. Can we make, yes. All right. And then this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So so the CIPS designation, it's not going to give us the business. It's give us the validation in the clients. It's a credential. So it's give you a validation for the client's point of view. You are extra educated. You have 5 extra days you took out of your life and your profession and invested into the global education. So yes, you should be proud of it, but that is we need to use it. We need to spell it out, but it is the base, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. The designation is not the, I just said exactly the same thing now. So your 90-minute journey, it's actually not 90 minutes, but it sounds good. So I put it up here. That was a joke. All right. Discover opportunities. This is kind of what I already set up because this is your slides. You remember I started without the slides. We just jumped right into the deep water. Framework with international transaction. All right. And we're going to talk about some action steps at the end as well. We already asked, what would you like to take away from here? So I'm trying to answer on some of these common questions, which is where global clients are, right? And also where are they coming from, actually come from, and also how to handle the currency and international funds, which Kelly is going to chime in here, and compliance awareness. This is very important as well because risk reduction, it's very important, right? So we need to make sure everything we are documenting and also keeping it what we need to keep transaction-wise, just like how we do with the local ones. So how to structure global partner and referrals, repeatable international transaction framework. So these are the things which I'm kind of going to cover throughout these few minutes with each other. Okay, so this is basically CIPS. What it really actually gives us it gives us a professional network and the opportunity to build this network. Let me give you a perfect example of this. I like to bring this up as an example is if you have 250 LinkedIn connections, do you know how many connections you have in your network? It's approximately 5,000. Why? Because the 250 people who you're connecting have their own connections as well. You see how it adds up? So think about 10 solid global professionals literally can build your global network as long as we work it. And this is not like how we work in, I have my mortgage person's phone number. That's fantastic. No, we need to build a relationship. So that means, yes, maybe $5 or maybe now $6 a day, a month. You go out and grab a coffee in Starbucks. Let's build that relationship. Have that in global real estate. If you don't have relationship with clients and your team of professionals, then um, you will have a harder time to build this business. Would you say that, Kelly? Yeah. So, and I know this from fact, you spend enormous amount of time, energy, and yes, financial investments to keep those relationships, to build those relationships, right?
I think the global business is a bit more intimate and it's a long-term relationship is what he means. So in my world, it's not perhaps every day that an agent will have a foreign buyer. So it is extremely important for me that I nurture that relationship so that in 2 years, perhaps when you have another foreign client, we'll have the opportunity to work together. So it's definitely not a one shot, and then I'll see him on Facebook and won't kind of worry about nurturing that relationship. It needs to be a bit more personal and more intimate so that the second somebody thinks about California or the second somebody thinks about buying global real estate, you remain front of mind.
And think about it because you don't also have every single day referral going to Costa Rica, to Panama, to Venezuela, or from that locations, or going outbound, going to France, Portugal, Spain. You don't have these every day, but when you have, you need to have that person. So that's why you build these relationships up front because and build that team of professionals up front because when things hit the fan, meaning the clients are coming in, then you will need to have the person who you can fall back and hand it over because that is a valid referring partner. And obviously it's another agent on the other side or so on and so forth. Okay. Um, Global net access. Any questions so far? Or is this a good information for you? Or I only see two
Yes,
people.
looks like very good information. I see thumbs up here all the time. And I
Okay.
think you answered some of these questions that came on the
Chat.
chat. Do they have the MLS and different information on different countries? So you kind of already touched on that. And another agent is asking, are there specific global events you recommend we attend constantly?
Yes.
But I think you answered some of these questions
Yes.
already.
So let me expand on this one just a little bit more. Let me answer on that international MLS thing because I know you're in California. So we are in Florida. And you probably have the same thing like we do. You're getting all kinds of websites and pages and things like that. There are international MLSs out there, most of them are calling themselves international MLSs. But I also would like us to remember they are nothing else than just portals. Why is that? They are portals because there is no agency, there is no representation on those countries. So let me ask you a question. There's no representation. How can you offer even a compensation to any side of the transactions, right? So they are portals. Now, there is one organization which is called International MLS Forum. International MLS Forum. They are the ones who are starting to work on this and trying to connect a lot of organizations into a platform which will be operating modified, because it cannot be like ours, but it's modified and it's all based on the same standards than the US MLS, which in the US MLSs are based on RESO standards, RESO. And International MLS Forum is working with RESO to go ahead and create these standards for the different countries. So yes, we will have eventually an international MLS which is backed by our structure and real estate standards, but it's still in the early phases. And since there is most of the countries are lawless, that's why you have 10 agents taking the same property as a listing with 10 different prices. Um, I will, yes, someone was leaving the meeting. And yes.
So, the International MLS Forum, is that something that you're involved in?
So yes and no. I am actually part of the global data exchange of information exchange about different countries' data exchange, which is part of RESO, which is part of the International MLS Forum. So I was actually one of the opening speakers in Paris 3 years ago for the International MLS Forum, and it's a great concept. I really hope it's going to keep going and growing, because NAR is trying to be, not NAR, but most of the MLSs in the US side are participating in here. And also SILA. SILA is the Central and South American NAR, so to speak, right? So I'm just, by lack of better term, I'm just making it easier. So SILA, SILA. So those SILA events, let's go to the event sides. It's one of the good things to attend Central and South America. I don't know who they are changing. I don't know how many countries, maybe 17 countries are included. Obviously, Mexico, Panama, Nicaragua, Venezuela, Brazil. So these are all part of them. And they also have conferences which is traveling around, obviously, Spanish-speaking countries, except Brazil, because we all know that is in South America, but it's Portuguese. So um, they also working closely, the International MLS Forum, with Syrian. Syrian is the European NER version. What did I say? Syrian?
Syrian.
No, sorry, that's an old news. That organization it's done. It's called CEPI. That's what I was gonna say. CEPI is the European version of NER, CEPI. And the current president of CIPS is actually from France, from Paris. And we have a good relationship with them. And they are definitely going to come to New Orleans in November in at the annual conference, New Orleans, November. Yes. So things to attend. That one, Sila is good because you guys are in California. It's easier probably to travel. NER conference, logical, that's national. And because they have global days. If you pull up the schedule, you would be surprised how many global networking opportunities are there. By the way, MoneyCorp is sometimes the sponsor of those big events. So just for you to know how much they are involved in the international transactions and in our field of work. Also, the next best thing after sliced bread, it would be Realtor Quest. Realtor Quest is in Canada, Toronto. Even though you're in California, so because the East Coast people are usually purchasing down in Florida, but the British Columbians, they are purchasing in, meaning British Columbia, that part of Canada, they are purchasing majority of them in Arizona and California. So it's also a very good source for you to network with. Um, and then I'm gonna ask Kelly because she has better conferences than I do.
I don't know if better is the right term. However, what I think is important is to take a step back, right? If you realize that the Asian market is a market that you want to focus on, then let's focus on Asian events where you're going to have the opportunity to connect with agents and potential clients. If it's Europe that you want to embrace, then obviously we'll start looking at more European focused events. So, for example, there's a conference that happens multiple times a year called A Place in the Sun, which is where people from the UK and Ireland will go and they will learn about investment and property opportunities outside of their home country, right? So typically there's a pavilion for the US, a pavilion for Cyprus, a pavilion for Spain, where again, attendees will go to learn about investment opportunities in those. So a place in the sun is one if you're
Can
looking
you
to
hold
focus
that
on the
thought?
UK.
Because the only reason I'm going to stop her, not because I'm rude, because I have a 2 seconds long memory. So I'm going to be exactly forgetting what I was going to. Now, look, I already forgot it. No, I'm just joking. Okay, so that was when we are selecting conferences, it's very important in real estate conferences. One of them, what she's talking about, it's consumer focused. The other one is real estate agent focused. Different animal, right? So that means you bring different materials with you. You bring different things because in one of them, on the agent side, you're building relationships, right? So you go to a foreign international conference with full of real estate agents, realtors. I'm saying differently, right? Real estate agent, realtors. So they are you building that relationship for referring business. Now, when you go consumer facing, what she's describing, which is really good conference, that's when you want to go ahead because now you're directly meeting with the consumers, the potential clients. Sorry, I wanted to make this clear.
No, I think that's important. And as far as other consumer conferences that potentially you want to look into because they have exhibitions both in other countries as well as here in the US. Maybe initially you're not ready to make the investment to travel the globe, but you want to do things more locally. There's conferences such as International Living, Live and Invest Overseas, and even an organization called Expatsy that hosts an annual conference called Move Abroad Con. And you wouldn't necessarily go there to promote yourself. What you would do is you would go as a consumer to be able to learn what everyone else is actually looking for information on so that you could be the resource for clients like them in the future. What you could also do at those exhibitions is connect with the different speakers who are representing the different countries because the speakers will return to Nicaragua, Panama, Costa Rica, wherever they are. And again, if you have the opportunity of introducing yourself uh, at those events, then perhaps you're their American contact going forward. But all of this information we are happy to send to you. So feel free. We will put our contact information in the chat. And I would love nothing more than to send you a list of a couple of conferences that I have experience in attending. And again, we'll make sure our contact information is in the chat so we can share that with you.
Yep. Um, good points. Let's move on with this. And we're going to open it up for Q&A as well. Professional interest in that first. So this is kind of it, advisory and professional credibility. Okay. All right. So let me touch on associations. So I think this is also undervalued most of the time. And this is the time when we really need to give a shout out for your own global committee, global council. So there are different structures here, but these are one of the things what they brought into your membership, having opportunities to have conversations, excel things. They are also the source of information. You were the past chair of the Global Council. Yes. So it's something which is it's really good to get involved with. Obviously, you are here because of them as well. So the opportunity, um, past client considering, okay, so let's talk about this as well. This is huge. Um, would you say like a year and a half ago it started this whole trend? So what we also see, ladies and gentlemen, is not just coming in, right? So let me just talk about international because this is so important. This was an eye-opening here as well. Do you have a charger?
Yes.
We're gonna go the laptop. And what happens is, so we have inbound and outbound transactions, right? But in my opinion, is my very first international transaction was sellers. And I know it sounds like weird, but first of all, I don't know if you are from the good old school of real estate thoughts, if you list, you last. That's what they used to say. So it's basically, um, we need an extension cord. You figure it out. Okay. Um, and then, so that means listings, right? So you need sellers. I think the best thing to do now for marketing, when you're looking at people who are 5+ years home ownership for a national sellers, and you start to hit them up with marketing. And I tell you why. And how do you find these people? First of all, is California as a title state or a lien state? Meaning like you closing with an attorney or title company?
We close with a title company, I mean with escrow company, but the title is switched through the escrow. We switch the title.
Okay, so title company similar to ours. Okay, same as in Florida, right? Because some states are operating only different. Okay, the reason why I'm said that because the closing company, the title company, can be a good resource for you to actually pull this information. Who are the foreign national owners for your county? Now, if you want to do the mining yourself, you have other platforms available. You can do Remine, Remine, and IMAP. I don't know, IMAP is a Californian thing too as well, but I think it's a national program. And you can just select absentee owners and literally look at people's physical address versus mailing address. And then you're going to target those people. We need to move.
Let's just turn.
Turn.
Give us 2 seconds.
Just 1 second because we need to plug you in.
I do see some additional questions here. We'll have a question session at the end, so we'll ask these questions here, just so you know.
Wow, we switched. You see, now she's on the left and I'm on the right. Things what makes you amused. Okay, life is too short. So, um, all right. That's good. We talked about that. Yes, so sellers, that's very important, right? And the title company can come into play. Now, what I started to say is in the past year and a half, what we have been seeing is a huge amount of US people are buying outside of the US. So that means outbound transactions, right? So let me give you some hotspots where the people are moving. So this way you can kind of follow the trend here, meaning the countries. So let's go south. So Mexico is still huge. Mexico is still huge. Some of the counties in Mexico, they are even accepting Medicare. Yes, US Medicare. And also going down Costa Rica. Costa Rica is still very hot. There are 225,000 US citizens lives in Costa Rica. Let's go more south, Panama. Panama is also a hotspot. Very good location. No location, well, it's in the middle, right? But I didn't mean to say that. It's very good because currencies, guess what? It is also US dollar, right? So it's 1 to 1. You can use US dollars. Prices are very favorable. We have an extremely good relationship with the Panamanian Real Estate Association, meaning American NAR. Then let's go Europe.
Yeah.
So Portugal, Spain. And I'm just realizing she's here, and I didn't even let you talk about currency exchange, and I feel horrible. France, Italy. And then let's go a little bit more east. Greece is coming back. right? So that's going to be another nice hotspot. And it's all because of the initiatives of the governments, which is the Golden Visa programs and so on and so forth. Now, the only thing is we also have to keep an eye on this because some of these countries, especially Portugal and Spain, now they are starting to realize one thing. This is fantastic for our economy. However, we are actually knocking our own buyers out of the picture. So they have legit strikes on the streets now for an ownership, some properties. So they started to do zoning regulations in major cities such as Lisbon, and but let's go to Spain. In Spain is the same thing because people can afford, the locals can afford to rent or buy properties now because everything has been, kind of like not bought up, but so to speak, bought up by foreigners. So they drove up the prices.
Yeah.
All right. So that's that part. That's fantastic. And then we are moving to the next one. Yeah. Okay. What foreign residency or citizenship, foreign source of funds? Aha, I guess where we are. This is Kelly's section. So I'm gonna hand it to Kelly here, and she's gonna explain us basically why it's important to use a currency exchange company and what is the know-how here, Kelly? I don't know. I mean, what would be the best explanation on this?
Thanks, Ola. So there's a couple of things that I thought I would touch on because at the end of the day, we're all here to learn how we can connect with more foreign clients and how we can grow our business globally. And I think that it's important to put this into three different contexts. If you're working with a foreign buyer, great. Maybe that's how you're growing your business globally. Maybe you're working with a foreign owner who is selling. Great. That's another opportunity to expand your business globally. Or maybe you're looking to become more involved with those outbound transactions that Zola was speaking about. I would actually challenge him that we really started to see those outbound transactions ramp up even from COVID, right? That's when people realized that they could work remotely. Social media started to, these foreign locations became a lot more tangible, I think. And over the last 3 years, I'd say I've worked more with clients from California that are buying in Europe than I even am working with foreign nationals buying here. So um, I'm going to talk to you just briefly about the exchange rates. There's hundreds of currencies used around the world. So when you are working with a foreign client, it's important to understand where they're coming from. So having a general idea of what's going on with the currency is important. I think also this helps you with coming up with your business plan. When the dollar is strong, you don't necessarily want to focus on foreign buyers because their buying power isn't going to go as far, right? So when the dollar is strong, perhaps you want to target the foreign sellers and see if they're interested in selling their property and benefiting from that strong dollar when they're converting the currency back to their home currency. When the dollar is weak, that's when we want to shift the table and start focusing more on a foreign buyer who could capitalize on the weak dollar and help their money go further here in the country. So I think it's important to understand that because you don't want to go down the business plan of putting all of your eggs in this basket if the market is working against you. So use this data to help you to figure out your strategy and who you want to focus on. So, how the exchange rate market works in general, there's something known as the interbank rate of exchange. And this is the exchange rate that big banks are buying and selling millions of dollars of currency at any moment in time. But this is not the exchange rate that you or I or your clients would have access to. What tends to happen is clients think that their banks are the best and only way to transfer money. They figure my money is already in my bank, so I'll just inform them that I need to transfer money to another country. And unfortunately, there's a couple of things that will happen. One, the bank will charge them a fee. The fee is tiny in the grand scheme of things. The fee is a $50 international transfer fee. Annoying, but small in the grand scheme of things. The way the banks make their profit is actually on the margin or the spread. So the banks are purchasing the currency at one exchange rate, but then they're selling it to your clients at a markup or a margin. And unfortunately, the margin that these banks are charging is anywhere from kind of 3% at best to more likely kind of 5% and sometimes even upwards of 10%. So our job as agents and advisors is to coach people on, hey, there is a better way to transfer your funds so that they are getting the most bang for their buck. A company like MoneyCorp, who specializes in currency exchange, buys the currency at the interbank rate because we do billions of dollars of transactions each year. So we get that interbank rate. Then we don't charge your clients fees, and we give them a far more competitive rate of exchange of a less than 1% margin. So that's important for you to know, that from here forward, you have this resource at your disposal to encourage your clients to look into. We also have the ability to lock into an exchange rate for up to 2 years, which you can also hugely use in your resource kind of toolkit. So when you start working with a foreign buyer now, and you kind of go, all right, well, based on the exchange rate today, your budget is X. That basically means nothing if they're not going to close for perhaps 3, 6, 12 months time, because the exchange rate, I promise you, is going to fluctuate between now and that closing date. So speaking to your client to eliminate that risk and locking into the exchange rate is, again, a way for you to protect yourself from losing a deal due to negative exchange rate fluctuations. And most clients don't know that this capability exists. So effectively today, you can help your clients get the best possible exchange rate. You can also provide them guidance on locking into a rate of exchange. Sellers is the same. We want to make sure that the process, if you're working with a foreign national seller who wants to take their funds back home, there's a really specific process that needs to be followed. Otherwise, one, your clients are going to get a horrific exchange rate, but more importantly, your sellers could find that their money gets stuck in the United States, one, because of the United States Patriot Act, because they need to be physically present. And we can go into more detail on that if you have questions. And this is above and beyond FERPDA, which is something else that you'll learn about as you start to deal more with foreign nationals. Zola, is there anything else you want me to add about currency exchange? Really just wanted to give you kind of a brief snapshot of what that looks
Absolutely.
like.
Absolutely. What I would like you to actually, for you, oh, I talked about this already. So most of these things are done. But I think the most important thing on the currency side of it, like let's say, even because we don't even think about this, but it's like 7 cents difference on a currency exchange. How would that translate into a $750,000 of transaction, right?
Mhm. I think it's very important that you just start to get familiar with what exchange rates look like. We do send out a daily exchange rate email that will just kind of give you a snapshot of what's going on, but you'll start to see what kind of norm looks like. And then one day you're going to open that email and go, wow, that number looks much different than it did what I'm used to it seeing. And then we can dig into more about why, what caused the currency to decrease or increase in value. Was it geopolitical? Was it natural disasters? I mean, there's so many things that impact the exchange rate. But we want to be your conduit to all things foreign exchange and international transfers, so that your clients know that you truly are the experts in dealing with international buyers and sellers.
And this is actually stage 3. I was just sliding through here because it's being recorded, so they can always look these slides back up. We always do this. So when someone should contact you when they are dealing with international, because the timing is important.
Timing is important. I would say engage with us and have a conversation about your foreign client at least kind of 3 to 6 months before the closing date. Again, this way we can really help a client take advantage of all of the services that are at their disposal, right? We can freely target a rate of exchange for them that's perhaps better than the exchange rate that's available today. And that way we can proactively help them to buy their dollars in the event the exchange rate does move in their favor. Simultaneously, if we start to see the exchange rate move against your client, then we can effectively stop the bleeding by either helping them to go ahead and buy their US dollars or at least talking to them about doing a forward contract, which is locking into the rate. I've heard agents before have clients tell them we cannot buy because we don't have a US bank account. Our services allow clients to, in many instances, bypass needing a US bank account, right? So their euros come into their Money Corp account, we convert the funds to dollars, and then we typically send the dollars directly to the closing agent, title company, attorney, wherever those dollars ultimately need to go, which negates the need for them to even have an American bank account. So any excuses that a client gives you, feel free to reach out to Zola and I as a resource, and we can help to educate you and your clients on how we can maybe navigate some of those challenges and hopefully come up with a resolution.
Yep, absolutely. And a few things here, and I just want to shut this out. I know some of you have questions, and we have time for that in a minute, a few more minutes, but just looking at this ITIN number. So there are ITIN. So ITIN, I call ITIN, which is the individual tax identification number, which is basically comes down to our social security number, but that's their social security number. Now, what I would like to actually bring to your attention, even though, so foreign nationals get taxed in two instances only. Okay. Number one is when they sell the property. Number two, when they receive any income from it. Okay, those are the two cases. Not when they buy, when they income and sell. Now, this they will need when they are going to claim their taxes, this ITIN number, which is again like our social security. And the bottom line here is please don't get caught up on this because this is a very, you can advise them to do this. Obviously, if they want to go ahead and get an international tax accountant, that would be the best thing, which they will need anyways. But get an ITIN number is basically filling out a form which is a W-7 form from IRS. And they can, no, you don't do it for them. I almost said that. They can do it for themselves. They can have the tax CPA, international tax accountant, or the FERPTA people can do and file this for them as well. Usually, some companies are charging for this service. Some people is including it. So that's why I'm mentioning this to you, because what I want us to be in the transaction is the hero for our clients, because our clients' best interest is always comes before anything else. Okay, I wanted to say that. These are the repeatable systems, qualification, advisory. Well, maybe we can send you this PowerPoint, which is, by the way, not a PowerPoint presentation, but slides. Should we send this to them?
Sure.
Okay,
We
we
can
can
put
do
it in the
this.
chat.
Yeah, in fact, actually, what I can do, ladies and gentlemen, you know what is at the end of this slide usually? Is a QR code. I don't know if it works, but let's just see. Does it work? Maybe you guys gonna go to some sites which you might don't want to go to. So before you, I should have shared it. I should have checked this. Does it work?
It works.
Oh, cool, Dallas. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, it works.
Awesome. All right. Questions. I saw Christina and she's been so patient. That was the first person's hand up. So and I only see Jeffrey afterwards, but I don't see anyone else. So any other questions? Well, no questions. Christina, go ahead.
Oh, hi Zella and Kelly. Thank you for the presentation. I have some questions in regards to going back to what Kelly was mentioning on the lock-in and then the 3 to 6 months. So the client would have to establish their money court account, like I would say, like you said, 3 to 6 months ahead. And does the money stay in the account, let's say for 3 to 6 months during while they're trying to find a property? Um, kind of does the money core account act like a bank savings? Kind of like, is there any interest that they would receive, or is just kind of like exchange 1031 exchange company that is just sitting there?
Great question, Christina. Thank you so much. So, your clients who decide to establish an account with MoneyCorp, there is no cost or and no obligation for them to utilize our services. So, actually, a client can start benefiting from the abundant benefits that we can offer, such as monitoring the exchange rate, providing them with expert guidance, targeting a rate of exchange, without the client ever needing to put a penny into their MoneyCorp account. They only need to transfer money into their MoneyCorp account when they're actually ready to facilitate an exchange. So the earlier we can start working with your clients, the better, so that we can really help educate them throughout their buying process and keep them abreast of currency fluctuations. Again, with them keeping their funds in their investment accounts, interest-bearing accounts, etc. They'll only transfer funds into us when they're ready. We'll convert the funds into dollars in this instance. We can hold funds on account for an extended period of time. So let's say someone just goes, I just want to go ahead and convert my, British pounds to dollars today, and I just want to hold them on my MoneyCorp account. They absolutely can do that. And then when they're ready to instruct us to transfer the funds out, they would just provide us with those forward wiring details. We can split up the payments. So we have a lot of clients that transfer a portion of the funds to a personal bank account, portion of the funds to the title company, a portion of the funds to the car dealership, the furniture company, you name it. We are the conduit to helping clients get international payments done at the best price because it's free and providing them the best exchange rate available.
Well, that sounds great. It sounds like you guys are sort of like a concierge of helping to make payments if they like coming here or going outbound, right?
That's
Okay.
exactly
100%.
correct. We have offices in 11 different countries. We are payment experts. So, as a first line of defense, when you start working with a foreign client, I encourage you to pick up the phone and speak with us because we can proactively give you some tips and tricks of the trade to say, hey, we've worked with a lot of clients from there. Let's make sure that we're helping them to get organized by doing X, Y, and Z.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, we have one more, right, Jeffrey?
Hello. You were talking about this trend of people moving overseas as expats, and it really
Yes.
started with COVID, and it has just picked up to a fever's pace. And people are moving all over, and you named a lot of the different countries that people are focused on that are going to live in. I've become familiar with, and I plan to move potentially in the future to Panama, and Panama has a lot of American expats that are moving there. As I learn more from those who are already there, and I'm listening to what they're saying in Facebook groups, a lot of it is about how to move money to their country. They have at least the benefit of the American dollar. They don't have to exchange, but it's still expensive to move money internationally. Does MoneyCorp, your primary is about exchanging, but in an economy where it's dollars to dollars, is it appropriate to use an account in MoneyCorp to move money? Because when somebody lives there, they're trying to move their pension money or their monthly income on a regular basis to pay for their living expenses in country, and they can't just wire because it eats up their money. So what services do you offer, whether it's Panama in a dollar basis or they're living in Spain and they have to exchange? What
You're
is the service appropriate for a monthly transfer and exchange?
Good question. So, our primary goal is to help people that have a foreign currency exchange and international payment responsibility. And that can be a one-off transaction. I'm buying a house with cash, here's all my money. Or it can be someone that has an ongoing requirement, such as sending their pension payments or mortgage payments overseas on a consistent basis. So, currency exchange and international payments is MoneyCorp's number one goal here. However, there are some instances where MoneyCorp will assist with same currency dollar transfers. We just look at those on a case by case basis because it doesn't make sense 100% of the time, right? If you have premier banking and your bank does not charge you international transfer fees, then there's no reason to kind of stick me in the middle of it because there's just no need. The shortest distance between, 2 points is a straight line. But happy to have a discussion with anyone who has cross-border requirements to see if Money Corp can help them save time, money, hassle, etc. But our number one goal is to engage with foreign currency transactions. Our minimum is $250, so we do help with quite small transactions, and there is no maximum.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The other part that isn't really talked about today in people who are thinking about moving overseas, becoming an expat lifestyle, is the whole discussion of the various different visa requirements. And when you talk about buying real estate, it usually is linked to a investment for residency. And that's a big topic, whether it's European and unfortunately, all the golden visas are increasing their investment amount. So what used to be super attractive is getting more and more expensive to do it.
Correct. But it's also opening up other countries as well. Now, Greece is back on the table with 250,000 starting, right? Euro. So it depends. And I think you're absolutely correct because everyone is getting a little bit, hungry and, we are just humans. Greed comes in and they are changing different things. But it is still attractive. There are still opportunities out there. And yes, it does come with a cost, but it also comes with a great benefit because once you're getting in a Schengen zone of the European Union, right? If you're getting a golden visa program, that would mean you also going to get into the European International Medicare system. So that's kind of including as well. So if you think about, there's a lot of other benefits which is comes with it because
There's a lot linked to the decision of where you would move to or buy or invest in real estate.
yes,
It is so in a way complex because it's not just what can I afford to buy in that country or do I understand how to do a transaction in that country.
right.
It comes into how to move the money. It comes into taxation. It has to do with residency. There's so many aspects of it that
Yes,
really makes you have to search out somebody who has a bit of knowledge to guide you in the right direction.
yes. That's why we have in the CIPS, we talk about the team of professionals, right? So let me just throw out a few words here. Did I say this here? I don't know. It's immigration attorney. So you need to have an immigration attorney in your toolbox. Yes, even in that country, whatever you're going to, right? You also need a real estate attorney. You also need an international CPA because Jeff, as you said, it's absolutely correct. International CPA. You need to have a currency exchange company. You also need a foreign national mortgage lender, right? If they are purchasing here. And you also will need a short-term and a long-term property manager as a minimum team of professionals to start a local or an international um, referral or business. Now, Jeff, also you mentioned something which is very interesting. Yes, because I would probably buy for my personal use in a different place where I would buy it for rental.
Mhm.
So investments versus personal to move. Yeah.
Yeah, to your point, it may make sense to um, invest in a specific visa opportunity in a specific country, but if you've never been there or you hate the warm weather, the cold weather, and you don't like the food, then maybe let's not, go there. And I think that it's funny to watch people go through this process who do. I go to a lot of these events and I'll meet someone on the first day and they say, I'm buying in Portugal. I know it. Portugal is where I'm going. And by the end of the conference, they come back and they say, I'm going to Taiwan. And it's not
Yes,
even somewhere, next to Portugal. It's the entire
because
different
because they
sector.
learn about things about other countries that they've never considered before,
Yeah,
never thought about Asia, but now they've learned that there are good reasons to go to Asia, etc. Uh,
exactly. I think one of the other things is if it is something that you want to do, there are ways to make things happen, right? So I know I partner with a company actually that helps clients utilize their IRAs to help them to make the investment into a golden visa. So whilst you might look at the golden visa price of 500,000 right now and think, well, I don't have $500,000 sat in my bank account. However, there are companies that can help you use kind of your 401ks and IRAs to offset that cost. So if you dream it, you can do it kind of thing. But again,
Here in Orlando, you remember Walt Disney?
reach out to us and we'll be happy to help make those connections, not only for you, but so that you can make them for your clients in the future.
thank
Zola
you.
and
It
Kelly,
is a
we do
Disney Club,
have
isn't it?
Zola and Kelly, we do have some questions in the chat box. Maybe we have a couple of questions that we have some time to answer. Elizabeth, can you go ahead and give us those two questions?
Yes. So let me go through here. I saw Mary. How does the National Association of Realtors settlement rule of not mentioning commission or compensation in our listing work with international communications?
That was for you, Kim.
Yes. I don't know if I understand the question. Can you repeat that one more time? Because I was in another dimension.
About paying commission. How do you avoid breaking kind of NAR rules and talking about commission within your international communications? You go more
Wow,
referral
that's a
fee.
very good question. The international buyers in this case, right, or sellers, you treat them the same way as we do it in the US side. So you are disclosing, well, the practice changed, right? So at your first contact, we're supposed to be disclosing our agency relationship and also mentioning our compensations are negotiable in the state of California. So that has not changed. We do the same thing with them as well. I think,
Okay,
yes, it's
thank you.
didn't change that.
Okay, thank you so much for that.
And in fact, we have to look out for that because they are just as falling into the same category as any other local ones.
Right. Um, I don't know if we have time for this question. It's probably a very involved question, but member is asking about capital gain taxes, and that is important to know on the capital gain taxes.
Yes, it is very important, but guess what? None of us is an expert on that one, meaning me and Kelly. So it is something which is why I'm saying this, because it depends. Because on capital gain tax, as we all know that in locally, if you own the property for more than 1 year, that's a different bracket. Now, if you are for a national who owns a property and you are talking about capital gain, I don't know their agreement what they had with the US. Because, there are countries which we have agreements with for double taxation. I understand investments are different, but guess what? These are the questions when we referring this to the international tax accountant, but there is something food for thought. I would also select an international tax accountant uh, based on the country because it has to be country specific. So maybe someone from the European Union country is different than someone from South America. You understand what I mean? So it has to be a
Absolutely.
local expert for that country. And I would definitely ask that question from those individuals. I'm gonna just to tell you how not complicated this business is, because even when it comes to commercial, I had my commercial agents. I honestly, listen, I'm licensed for a long time. I do a lot of things, but I have zero knowledge about commercial. And you know what? I am proud of it because I don't want to know. I know everything. I'm a residential investor. I can say expert for different levels. So that means up to 4 units and single family and all of them. But when it comes to like buildings and commercial and gas stations and things like that, such as this question about I have experts and I refer it to them. So just wanted to, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer on that more directly, but and probably even if I would know the answer, I would probably make sure you would double check with the international CPA.
But
Makes complete sense. Thank you so much. I know Kelly already
Okay.
shared her contact. Zola, I don't know if you're willing to share your
Oh,
contact in the chat, but
sure.
I saw a
$1
question
million.
on that as well. Thank you so much, and I will give it to Fong.
Thank you so much, everyone. So we just wanted to put a poll out there to see if we had interest in hosting a future CIPS class series at Orange County Realtors. So if you will all just give me a second, a poll will launch.
You can also find us on social media. Unfortunately, 10 days ago, I know I tell this to everyone because I don't know, it's maybe normal thing for everyone. But anyways, I get hacked, so I don't have Facebook account anymore, but I do have Instagram and LinkedIn, and that's probably the best way to get a hold of me. Because I don't answer phone calls if I don't have the number. So, but I did share my contact information, which is my email address as well as the phone number.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that, Zola. Thank you.
Pleasure. How is the poll? Let's see the result. Now I'm curious.
Well, can we get the results after we receive all the submissions? Perfect.
Yes, here
Say
you go.
yes.
Very nice.
Uh-huh. Okay. We
So we
schedule.
see that Zoom Monday through Friday half day is popular. Okay.
Well,
Right.
if we have 50 people sign up, I'm sure we can get some good sponsors so we can keep the price down.
That would be perfect. Thank you.
Very nice.
Let's go ahead and do the raffle because we're almost at our 11:30 checkout time.
Yes, and just a
Before you
reminder.
before you move in, let us just say thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. And I really hope you had a great time and great information. And thank you so much for Kelly and everyone else's participation.
thank you all. It was nice to meet everybody, and we genuinely look forward to hopefully working with all of you. So thank you.
Thank you, Zola and Kelly. The information was really, really appreciated and very important things that you touched on. We're definitely going to use your contact information and send whatever extra questions we might have to you.
I
Our
echo that.
pleasure.
We are just thrilled to have both of you. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you.
It is a
you.
treat and a lot of nuggets of information. Thank you so much.
And we know that you've been busy with another event, so really thank you.
Of
Pleasure.
course.
It's my commitment to the Global Committee and Dallas and all of you.